And we're back once again, only on its last call. Last call, the alcohol, only on the lastcallpodcast.com. And once again, we always love having him on because he brings the heat. And we're going to talk about a lot of things here and cram it into 45 minutes segment for all you people out there who I know it's Tuesday. We got to hustle. So once again, from Eurosport DL and MMA Odds Breaker podcast, I give you Marcel Dorff. So Marcel, let's jump right into this. UFC Perth fight night. Alberg knocked out Reyes. So let's start out the big question. Does he now deserve a title shot? Have you now come around and acknowledged that he is the Australian badass?
First of all, thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm cool with it, man. I think the UFC has options. I don't think it's like crystal clear he should be next, but definitely he made a statement on Saturday. It was a great win for him. Knockout first round. I mean, if they give it to him, you won't hear me complain. So yeah, it was a good win. It was a performance. This is the performance he probably needed. So it's a good win for him. Yeah.
What's more likely? He gets a title shot or he gets the winner of Prochka versus Roundtree?
Yeah, so that's difficult, man, because I think it depends a little bit what happens in the title fight, right? Because listen, if Pereira wins, I mean, and Yuri wins, then obviously they go with Alberg. I don't think Ankalaev gets a rematch if he loses. If Ankalaev wins, Yuri wins, and Alberg has won, then there are open options. You can do both, and even if Khalil wins, you can do him as well. But it kind of depends, man. I think for Alberg, it would be great if Pereira wins and if Yuri wins. If that happens, they're probably going to do Poatan against Alberg next. I think that's what makes most sense for him because if Ankalaev wins, then they also can pick Yuri or Khalil if one of the two win because they haven't fought each other yet.
Meanwhile, where does Dominic Reyes go? Because he had his heart set on this is going to be a start of something. This is going to be him getting back in the title picture, and now he still is 3-1 his last four fights. But you look and it's like, well, can't beat Blachowicz, can't beat Prochka, can't beat Alberg, can't beat Ryan Spann. Like, what are we doing here? So if you're Reyes and he's been around, some of his last couple of fights he's been knocked out. What does he do going forward? Like, does he continue? Do you think, or does he, take a good look and go, okay, what's my future? Do I want to stay around? Get my brain speed in?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, this was a big fight for Reyes. He could have been completely back in the title picture if he won this one here. So it's probably a painful loss for him, but at the same time, I didn't really expect him to win against Alberg, man. So, but for him, he can still fight on. He can still move on, but there won't be any title shot anytime soon in his future. But I think he still beats a lot of guys, but he looked really hesitant in the fight, man, against Alberg. And yeah, the moment he opened up a little bit, he got knocked out. So I hope he has a good recovery and we'll see him back. But I think it will be tough, man. It depends if he still wants to make a run for the title. It probably will be tough. But hey, I hope he can go back and can do well.
Meanwhile, Jimmy Crute continues to, well, just bounce back in a big way, and all he's doing right now is winning. You can love it, you can hate it. Back-to-back wins now over Marcin Pacino and Evran Ursulan. What did you think of the fight? Was this probably his best performance to date? And at what point now do we have to start looking, going, okay, he's turned the corner, he's figured it out, and he looks sort of refreshed now at 205?
Yeah, let's hope he figured it out, man. He looked good, man, and gotta give him credit. He really looked good, in my opinion. Um, not that I ever thought that Urslan was going to win, but yeah, he got him out, man, with a really nasty kind of choke, like a modified neck crank or whatever it was. Um, yeah, good performance, man, in front of his home country. Yeah, I mean, he was placed on the co-main event on purpose, to show out, and yeah, good for him. Two wins in a row after almost getting 5 years without a win. So I'm happy he's back, man. He's a good dude. So I like to see him do well, and yeah, all credits to him, man.
Who do you give him next? Then I mean,
It
you
depends
get
on what you it depends on what the UFC wants. Do they see him as a future in the top 15 again? Then you give him somebody in the top 15, which is possible. If they don't see that, I'd say use him for the Australian and New Zealand cards. But yeah, I would give him somebody probably bottom top 15. I think he. Did he call someone out? I'm not sure anymore, but give him somebody from either top 15 bottom or just outside the top 15, one of the two.
I was going to say, do you run back his fight with Jamal Hill? Last time they fought was 4 years ago. Jamal knocked him out in 31 seconds, but he looks like a different fighter. Jamal's going a bit down. Jamal's now lost. Well, you look at his records, like last 3 fights. Is that a match to make that makes sense for both parties?
No, it's not even a bad idea, dude. I like it, to be honest. So yeah, let's go.
This guy here. Now I know he's one of your favorites. You say you don't have, you'll play favorites. You love Neil Magny because every time he wins, you're just like, yep, old school. Grappling, wrestling. That's how MMA is all about. Not just one punch knockouts. It's the work. So what are we making Neil Magny? Because he's been around for almost ever, and every time we think this is gonna be it, he goes on a nice little streak. So should we be impressed? Should we give him somebody better? What did you take out of his fight against Matthews?
Neil Magny is probably like the perfect gatekeeper for top 15 man in the welterweight. He's just not in the top 15 right now, but basically what he is, I think, he's done so many good things. I honestly think, and I hope not for Magny, I think this fight is going to be overturned in a no contest. But yeah, great comeback win, man. What can you say? The dude has always a cardio for 15 minutes. Is never out of a fight, even when he loses the first 10, 15, 10, 12 minutes. And then, yeah, he finishes. Amazing win for him. But I think because of the referee's mistake, they're going to turn it into a no contest. But we'll see. I hope for him not. But referee fucked up big time in this fight, I think.
How so? And why would it be get overturned? Because usually referees screw up all the time. We just go, all right, well, it's human error.
Yeah. Yeah, so because like you saw in the last seconds of the first round, Jake Matthews had that chokehold, and Magny's arm went a little bit limp, but he wasn't out. And then the referee stepped in, and he wasn't out. But the referee stepped in at 0.001 seconds. He said he's out, so he stepped in, and then Magny looked at him. And he's like, "I'm not out." And then the referee was time. Okay, the continue. So he called the fight, actually, and also Jake Matthews thought he called the fight. Also, Magny thought he called the fight, and then he found a certain loophole. Found like, oh, it's 1 second before the end of the round. I can act like I didn't stop the round and go to the next round. But he actually stopped the fight, which was a bad stoppage because Magny wasn't out. But at the same time, Jake thought he won, and I don't know how it works with a fighter, but you might get an adrenaline dump because you think you won and then you have to continue. He still won the second round, I think, Jake, but he lost the third round. The thing is, he stopped the fight. And if you stop the fight, you cannot continue anymore. So I think, and I know Jake Matthews is appealing this decision, by the way. I think there's going to be a no contest. It would fucking suck for Neil Magny, but the referee just made a mistake. He should have never said he's out. If he would have said, if he would just touch them, he could still see it, and he was like, "Oh, he's not out. We go to the next round." But now he called it off, and then you cannot call it on anymore. It's just in the rules. You know what I mean? And in my opinion, it's good that it continued. It's good that Magny won, but the way the rules go, it should have been a no contest. But for Magny, I hope it stays this way. For Jake, I hope it goes to a no contest. But yeah, it's just a referee's mistake, man, and he tried to get out of it. I think if this fight takes place in Vegas, it's a no contest after the first round, thanks to the referee.
What's good for the sport? Because for Matthews, yeah, gets overturned. That's great. For Magny, it stinks.
Yeah.
The commission's going to sit there and go, this could open the floodgates. Because now every opponent's going to then cry foul every time a referee jumps in too quickly. Go, no, that should be overturned. So he screwed up. I mean, if you award this as no contest and Matthews basically goes, yeah, hey, referee effed up, so I should get it. How many fighters are going to go to these commissions and go, But why can't my fight get overturned? Why, Mazzagatti screwed this up. He called it early. I wasn't tapping. You even saw me. What if they overturn this?
Mhm.
Will this be like It's almost like judicial system where if the rule is made because of technicality, every lawyer is going to pounce on that. Next thing you know, the courts are going to get basically flooded with, in this case, MMA commission stuff. Hey, overturn this, overturn that, overturn this. Referee screwed up.
That's a difficult question, man, because I think every single one is different. The thing is like, um, listen, do I mind that it continued? No, because I don't think Neil was out, but Neil was on the verge of being out in that situation. So and seconds are literally, how do you say that, important. Imagine now, like, Jake holds on for another second. Is Neil out then? We don't know. So I see it from Jake's perspective. I definitely see it also from Neil's perspective. But the referee had made the mistake here, and fighters will do everything to get the, how do you say that, the decision their ways. So I don't blame Jake if that he appeals the decision. For Magny, yeah, he got screwed pretty much, by the referee. But also Jake got screwed. So the referee, they should talk to the referee. What are you doing, dude? And this dude just tried to, how do you say that? Um, he tried to get out of a situation he put himself in. He also didn't check with Neil before he separated them. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see, man. I understand your question that every fighter is going to do it, but if there is a technicality, every fighter is going to try through the technicality to get the fight overturned. You saw it with Abdul Malik against Brundage, which were also like a fall in that
Oh, I know.
fight.
That's why I said. So basically, to make shorten this,
Yeah.
is the commission gonna? Do you think the commission's gonna look at Matthews and go, "We can't do this," because they'll look and they'll go, "If we overturn it for you, we're gonna have to start overturning it for a lot of people because they're gonna just start crying, foul, like, hey, referee screwed up. I wasn't knocked out. He just jumped in the fight. I was still throwing punches." And these things, like, it's not as egregious as this referee, but there's a
I
lot of
think that
fights we could look and go, yeah, ref effed up, and this should have been
then you got to
no
change the rules,
contest.
man. Then you got to change the rules, because Matthews in his full right to appeal this decision, in my opinion. But then you got to change the rules. Then you got to say, like, if the referee makes a mistake and he stops the fight while the fighter is still going, you need to continue. Then you have to change the how do you say that, the guidelines, the rules. But as long as you don't change the rules, you cannot just go by like, referee made a mistake, but we let it go. They have to change the rules, but yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see.
Break down the rest of the card. It was because we saw some fighters look pretty good. We saw Michelle Montague get her first UFC win. Overall, who impressed you? Who stood out? And which fighters did you look at and go, all right, you have a future in the UFC? I've come around. Marcel Dorff, have given my stamp of approval.
So I thought overall the card, listen, there were some fun fights on the card, but overall it was a pretty big stinker of a card. Although I give Tom Nolan and Charlie Campbell much credit, I think that was an amazing fight. If that would have been a fight of the night, that was definitely the one. Tom got dropped early on, didn't get an official knockdown for some reason on UFC stats, but then he finished Campbell. Amazing win for him, man. I think he looked good, besides getting dropped early. Got to give a shout out to Cam Roaston as well, who beat Andre Petroski. Petroski looked really not, I don't want to say bad because I don't want to be a dick, but he really didn't look good. And Cam Roaston, yeah, he finished an amazing win for him in his debut, man, against a guy. And Petroski who has a really good UFC record. So, yeah, really well done. Montague, she did what she had to do, but she got staggered a couple of times on the feet. I don't think she's really good on the feet, but her ground game is pretty solid. So was a good debut for her from New Zealand, first women in New Zealand fighting in the UFC. So good for her. Brando Perisic against Alicia Allison. Uh, Nasty knockout, dude. But I don't think Allison should fight at heavyweight. To be honest, he should cut down to light heavyweight probably. Perisic looked good, but I expected this to happen. Either one knocked out, but Perisic looked good. But I want to see him against better opponents. And Tainara was way too how do you say that, physical strong for Loma. Loma, it sucks for her that's no atomweight division in the UFC because I think she could be really good there. But yeah, those fights were pretty much the ones I thought were pretty good, you know.
Well, enough of the hors d'oeuvres. It's the main course. That's right. This weekend, UFC 320 on one of the last few pay-per-views. It is Alex Pereira. Uh, this time now fighting for his title that he lost to Magomed Ankalaev. I'm excited for this. I know you're excited for this. Of course, you're going with your guy Ankalaev because he's now the Twitter trash talking light heavyweight champion of the world. What should we expect from this fight? Will it be different? Will it be the same? And Marcel, who are you? What's for you? What's the X factor in this fight?
Listen, it's a necessary fight, you know. Alex was the champion. He defended it 3 times. He lost it to Magomed. So for me, it's all okay that he gets an immediate rematch, you know. It's interesting, I think. To be really honest, I don't think much will be different. Not much will be different, to be honest. You know, we both know what both guys can do. Um, Listen, Alex did pretty well last time with defending the takedowns. I think that was really good what he did. But at the same time, he couldn't let his game go because Magomed was keep pressuring him the whole damn time, you know, and he didn't know how to react to that. So if Magomed does that again, unless Alex starches him, I think he wins, you know. But hey, we'll see. I think it will be a lot of the same, to be honest. But this time, I think Ankalaev can finish him. To be honest, man, I really think he can. Um, I would love to see Pereira go to heavyweight. You know, I think that there will be his future. Although, do I see him winning against Tom? Probably not. But still, I would love to see him go to heavyweight. And I mean, it's a good fight, you know. It's a fight a lot of people want to see because a lot of people think that Alex didn't look like himself in the first fight, so they want to see him now if he can actually win against Ankalaev. I think it will be difficult because Ankalaev is really all round, you know. But hey, we'll see, man. And it's a good fight. Looking forward to it. Um, yeah, I mean, let's see what happens, you know.
So
Bless you.
let's start off with Alex Pereira. If you were Alex's camp, you're sitting
Yeah.
there, you tell him, hey, look, you are Shama. You are the guy who can just knock out anybody. What are you telling him to do differently in this fight? Like, what should he do differently that you think he can exploit Ankalaev?
He must make sure that he's not getting pressured. Like I said, man, that was the main thing in the last fight. He got pressured the whole time, you know, and he had no idea how to respond to that because Ankalaev did that really smart by pressuring him. What should he do? Yeah, make sure that he lands a couple of punches. I think he only landed 11 significant strikes in the last fight, which is like really less for an Alex Pereira fight. That's overall. That's basically what I think he should do. Just getting more into the zone, trying to play his game. He couldn't play his game against Ankalaev last time, you know, and yeah, let's see if he can this time. I'm intrigued by it. I think will be very tough, like I said, but it's not impossible, you know.
Meanwhile, if you're Ankalaev, is there anything he could do differently, or does he try to just repeat the perfect fight he fought last time, which on one hand, yeah, he got a lot of takedown attempts. He pressured him. On the other hand, he wasn't able to really take down and hold down Pereira.
I think he will probably try doing the same, man, because of the game plan he played against Pereira last time. Pereira couldn't do his game plan. You know what I mean? So he was in charge pretty much a lot of the fight. I had it 4-1. I could see it 3-2. Um, yeah, I mean, I think unless Ankalaev gets knocked out, I think he wins the fight. But listen, Pereira always has that equalizer in his left hook, you know. So listen, if he knocks out Ankalaev, it also wouldn't surprise me because he has that quality to knock somebody out, you know. But Man, that's a difficult task, dude. I mean, Ankalaev is not like most light heavyweights. I think he's really all round, and this division doesn't really have all round light heavyweights in it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this one, and let's see if Pereira can adjust and made it different than he did last time. But I think it will be very difficult for him.
All right, it's Vegas.
Yeah,
But Dana wants Pereira as champion again. He's not happy
obviously.
with this Ankalaev guy. Guy doesn't speak English. His kind of fight's kind of boring. My God, imagine the fireworks we could have with Pereira versus Alberg, Pereira versus Roundtree too. Hey, dare I say, we could still make this work. It's not dead yet. And I don't care what that Marcel Dorff guy says. We can make it. Pereira versus Israel Adesanya 3 for the light heavyweight championship, the grudge match. So if you are Ankalaev, should you worry that if this fight's close, the judges might, just see it to a challenger who's also the money guy who, is the UFC favorite. And you know how UFC is. You make us happy, we'll make you happy.
Oh, absolutely, bro. I don't trust these judges for whatever. So Dana always says like, no, what's going on is and stuff. I don't always trust it, because there have been decisions before that somebody clearly lost, in my opinion, and it went that way, and it was really convenient for the UFC. So Ankalaev just has to make sure that he clearly wins at least 3 rounds. Uh, Listen, preferably winning by finish, but he has to absolutely clearly win 3 rounds. So the judges cannot fuck it up. But hey, you'll never know, man. These judges, I don't trust them project shit. So just make sure there is no doubt, I would say. But that's easier said than done, obviously.
Speaking of judges and UFC not liking people, the co-main event: Marab Dashvili versus Corey Sandhagen for the bantamweight championship. Again, this is one of those guys who Dana likes to say, "Yeah, we're trying to get him beat. We want to get him fired." Like Dana's not happy with Marab. Marab did the worst damn thing. He beat Sean O'Malley twice. He ruined O'Malley. He ruined Nurmagomedov's chance of becoming a champion and following the family footsteps. Dirty Marab Dashvili. I know he's your friend, Marcel, but is it safe to say UFC is still looking at Marab going, God damn it, why can't you lose? Just give us back our precious.
Bro, I fucking love Marab, dude. he's
I
he,
know
he's
you two probably hang out and go, hey, Marab, tell me again how you just whooped O'Malley's ass. Dana made Dana cry. He'll go, yes, I will tell you. So I understand you two are like peas in the pod. So is
but
there any way Corey can beat him?
uh, besides that, by the way, Marab's really great dude, man. So uh it's the thing is like stylistically, this is a horrible matchup for Corey Sandhagen, man. And I'm a big Corey Sandhagen fan, man. I love the guy. I think he's an amazing fighter. He also trained in the Netherlands as well for some time earlier. Um, but man, this is a difficult matchup for him, man. I mean, this is obviously Marab is not going to strike a lot with him. I think he is a better striker, obviously. But Marab is going to pressure him the whole damn time, and he's going to try to take him down. And if Corey stands up, he's going to try to take him down again. It's going to be like Marab always does. So the only thing that's possible is that Corey somehow knocks him out or whatever. Then he can win the fight. But man, it's going to be difficult, man. Marab is so good, and I feel like Marab is still improving, man, every time he fights. So that makes it not even that doesn't make it easier, because before you were like, if you strike with Marab, you can win and you can try to keep him at distance. But Marab striking is also making how do you say that, improvements. So I don't see Corey winning, man, in this fight. And I love Corey Sandhagen. You know that. I almost pick him always in his fights, because I think he's an amazing fighter. And he's pretty all round. But the ground game, Marab has a massive advantage in the ground game, I feel like.
Does Marab finish Corey Sandhagen? Is this the
I
fight
would
where you look at it and go, well, he finished O'Malley the last time out. He might do it again, and all of a sudden, start winning his way back into Dana's heart. Like, all right, you're
Bro,
finishing fights. I can't complain.
it wouldn't surprise me, to be honest, man. I think it's possible. I think he either wins by decision or submission, indeed. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, man, because like you saw last time, Merab is just getting better, man. He's still getting better. He was called a decision merchant by a lot of people, but yeah, he got a good finish in this last fight against O'Malley. Um, it's possible that he finishes Corey Sandhagen, man. It's really possible, and it depends on how tough Corey is. And Corey is pretty tough, but we've seen him tap before years ago against Aljo, and Aljo happens to be the trading partner of Merab, so that's a funny coincidence. But we'll see, man. Will be an interesting fight for sure.
If Marab wins, is it safe to say he might be considered the greatest bantamweight champion in the division? I mean, this will be dominance now. This will be he'll have beaten everybody almost in his division. He won't have lost since 2018 to Ricky Simon. I mean, there isn't. I don't see anybody in this division who can beat Marab because he can just go, as you said, for 5 rounds and probably an extra 2 just to be on the safe side.
I think we can have that conversation. Yeah, I mean, for a long time, I think it still was Dominic Cruz, but yeah, if Marab keeps winning, he is surpassing Cruz. I think and that's a massive accomplishment in my opinion, because I didn't thought that Cruz was going to get how do you say that somebody was going to come close to Cruz anytime soon. What Marab has done that. So yeah, I think you can say that for sure. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the fight, which I know you have, let's just say, investment in. It's Yuri Prochka versus Khalil Roundtree Jr. So I'm going to put you on the spot, Marcel.
Yeah.
Why do you hate Roundtree? We talk about him every time, like, oh my God, this guy's terrible. He's going to lose. You said it against Jamal Hill and Roundtree won, and you were just like, how dare that guy? So have you made the call yet? Have you called Yuri and going, look, I need you to beat this guy. I need you to
Well,
knock him out quickly. Get rid of him. I want him fired. I will even call Dana and say, Dana, fire Roundtree.
did you talk to my co-host Adam before the podcast or something?
No,
Because
I just know you because we've had you on the show before. You're like, God damn it, Roundtree sucks. What has he done to you, Marcel? Did he TP your house, kick your dog, slap your girlfriend in the butt? What did he do when you like, this guy's terrible?
Adam exactly asked me the same question as you did yesterday. He has done nothing to me, man. I'm just thinking like, I think he's super one-dimensional, and I don't think he's an all-round fighter. I think what he does well. But I don't see him as that next big thing in the division or whatever. I know he struggled against so many guys in the past, and I still don't see. He fights a lot of strikers, and that's why he looks so amazing, because he fights a lot of strikers. But the moment he fights a grappler, I think he's not that good. And I think if Yuri's smart, he grapples with him. He probably doesn't, because Yuri doesn't likes to strike as well. So he still has a good opportunity here, around 3 to win. I would still go with Yuri in this one, because I think he's a much completer fighter. But yeah, I'm just not a big fan, dude. I'm just honest. I think he's not complete. That's the thing, and I feel like he does well for what he does. But I feel like the UFC is overhyping him so much, and that's why that's why I sound like a hater. I'm not actually, but yeah, I know I sound like a hater, but hey, that's what it is.
You just described, like half the UFC where it's like, yeah, if you only do one thing great, then everything else they're not really not good at. That's most of the roster. So it's like,
Yeah, but that
you hate half
roster
the
is
roster, like, yeah, let
no,
me
no,
get
no, no.
this guy fired. I'll screw this guy. All he does is like throw bombs, get him fired. Yeah, Derek Lewis, I definitely want his ass fired. I mean, I can see you now just like sending out email. All right, this guy
I
is
just
not
don't
an
like.
MMA fighter. Get him fired.
Listen, I just don't like when the UFC acts like they have some next big thing, and then the guy is just like one-dimensional. You know what I mean? And then they match him up all the time with strikers because it's so fun for the fans. Yeah, I understand that, but at the same time, you're giving this guy opportunities he probably shouldn't have. That's the main thing that annoys me. So I'm not a Khalil hater. I know that I come across as one, but it is what it is. I'm just telling what I think.
Again, Mackenzie Dern is a one-dimensional fighter, you could say. Ronda Rousey, even at her peak, was kind of one-dimensional. But as long as you do that one dimension, great. Hey, yeah. So I got to ask Marcel, if Khalil Roundtree knocks out Yuri Prochka, will you come over? Will you finally go over? Go, Khalil, I respect you. I like you. You've turned my mind. Or will you still be going, God damn, we got to get this Roundtree guy fired. Who can we find? Maybe we match him up with a grappler, get him choked out, and then I can go bye Roundtree.
I don't know, man. I have to see the fight before I give you my opinion on that. I have to see the fight first, and I'll give you my honest opinion next week. Listen, if he beats Yuri, he gets all the props he deserves, because I think Yuri is a real good fighter, is a legit championship material fighter. He hasn't been a former champion. So if Roundtree beats him, I would be really impressed, but I don't see it happening, to be honest. But hey, if he does, he gets all the credits from me in the world.
Is this a no-win situation for Yuri Prochka? Because on one hand, okay,
It's,
great, you beat Khalil Roundtree, and it's to people like you'll go, okay, great. Do you want a cookie? You want a pat on the back? You should beat Khalil Roundtree because, as you said, Khalil Roundtree sucks ass and swallows. If he wins only by decision, people will start going, "Oh my god, I have lost him a fastball." And if he gets knocked out, oh my god, you and the fans will turn on the samurai. You will look at him and go, "You are a bum. Go back to the Czech Republic. You suck. How can you lose to Khalil Roundtree?"
yeah, I wouldn't call him a bum, but I think it would be a really bad loss if he loses, man, because I think Yuri's much better. Yeah, I'd honestly be shocked if he loses, but hey, listen, man, this fight, if he wins and he gets a good finish or whatever, like I said, he's still in title contention, but he has to hope that Ankalaev beats Pereira, because he's not going to get a third fight anytime soon, I think. And Alberg is ready to fight, so probably goes to Alberg. But yeah, you never know. Maybe you never know what happens. Alberg can get injured and then he can step in or whatever. So this fight is not for nothing. If he wins, he's still close to a title shot, but he just has to hope that Alex Pereira doesn't win.
Rest of the card. First, let's start with the rest of the main card. It's Josh Emmett versus Youssef Zalal in a fight I will guarantee you that will not disappoint. Somebody's getting knocked out. Then you get Joe Pfeiffer versus Abuz Magomedov, which once again, that fight will deliver because those two guys also will come to chin check. Who do you like, and which fight right now is the most competitive? Let's say all except for Ankalaev versus Pereira.
I'd say the most competitive one most likely will be Emmett against Zalal. That's an interesting fight. Definitely because of the fact that Emmett has to push the pace and has to lure Zalal into with the striking, And Zalal pretty much has to fight the same way he fought against Calvin Kattar, or a lot of people were upset about, but that's the way he can win against Emmett. He just has to make sure that he doesn't get caught with a hard shot, because we know Emmett has the knockout power. Yeah. What do I think about? I still think Zalal can win, but he has to make sure he doesn't get knocked out by Emmett, because, like I said, Emmett has the power. And that other fight, the Pfeiffer against Magomedov fight, I think it's interesting. What does Joe Pfeiffer do in this fight? Magomedov has done better as of lately. He's also ranked now. I think he's 15 or is just outside. It depends. There was an update, because I don't see him being ranked on the picture here. But yeah, I mean, both guys can do well, but I would say Pfeiffer should win this fight, man, and finally get into the rankings, man. I think he can win the fight. I don't know. What do you think, man?
I think as I said, I agree with you on Emmett versus Zalal being very competitive. I think basically the fight I'm looking forward to the most is probably Pfeiffer versus Magomedov, because Magomedov, you said, he's right on that cusp. It's almost like he needs to start winning now, and then losing to Sean Strickland and Kyle Barallo is nothing to sneeze at. Those are two of better guys in MMA, but this is a fight where I think if for Pfeiffer, if he wins, all of a sudden you got to really start respecting him as a top 15 guy. If
Yeah,
it's Babu's wins, maybe you start giving him a top 10 fight.
yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I think so too.
A couple undercard fights. I want to get as we're wrapping this down. I want your thoughts on a couple undercard fights. First off, Farid Basharat is taking on Chris Gutierrez.
Yeah.
Look, the UFC always loves when a guy from a different country comes out and starts tearing it up. Um, the ferocious Farid is undefeated right now. He's 13-0 from Afghanistan. This is a guy who is 4-0 in the UFC, beating Victor Hugo, beating Damon Blackshear, Taylor Lapius. Is this a good fight for him? Or is this one of those fights where it's like where you look at Chris Gutierrez and go, this might be a little bit, more of a, he might have bitten off more than he can chew at this stage.
I like Chris Gutierrez a lot, but I think this is a perfect fight for Farid, to be honest. Farid is going to grapple in this fight. Chris is going to struggle, I think, by with the takedowns, and Farid is going to grapple. I think this will be a grapple-heavy fight for Farid. Chris has to make sure to keep it on the feet to get anything going, I think. Although Chris can grapple as well, but I think Farid is just better. I think it can be a really, really annoying fight for Chris, man, if Farid can get his way. And I think Farid wins as well. I'm picking him by decision here. I think he outgrapples him in the fight. And I think Farid's undefeated streak will keep on going, man. And he gets top 15 fight after this one, I think.
Patchy Mix took on a tough fight, his first fight in the UFC. What did his UFC do? Well, we're gonna give you you're gonna give you now a debut guy. It's Patchy Mix versus all the way from KSW, uh, Polish standout Jakub Wielotz. This screams to me like UFC going to Patchy going, hey, we still want you to take out that damn dirty Marab. So we're gonna give you a little bit of a cupcake. This guy is gonna get UFC jitters. He's never fought anybody quite like you. So consider this sort of like, okay, this is your cupcake.
I see that there's a little bit as you can see it from both sides, man. You can see it the way you look at it, and you can see it like the UFC wants to see if he can be the guy who's even not in the UFC yet. You know, Um, I think weight class is pretty decent, but I don't think he has the level that Patchy Mix has. I listen, everybody's down on Patchy Mix. I understand it because of his last performance, but I still think the guy's really good, man. We've seen it in Bellator. He was really one of the best guys over there, and it's not that he fought a bunch of bumps, he fought really good guys in my opinion. Probably at the octagon jitters, didn't look good, didn't look like himself the last time. Batista did great. I think Patchy Mix gets his first win this weekend. I think he wins the fight probably by decision. I don't think he's going to take any risks here. He needs to get the win. And imagine he going 0-2 with the UFC, man. That would be horrible because he's not on a 10+10 contract or anything. So yeah, I think Mix wins. But it says a lot that the UFC put him on the early prelims here, not even on just the prelims.
Ramirez Bramaj takes on Austin Vanderford.
Yeah.
And you and I have covered Austin. I've had the pleasure of interviewing Austin. You have to feel happy for this guy because for years, and people always remembered him as, oh yeah, by the way, you are Paige Van Zandt's boyfriend. That was what it was for years. People would sneer like, oh yeah, it's Mr. Van Zandt. Oh, it's Paige's guy. He's now in the UFC. He had some, he cut a swath in Bellator, did pretty damn well. Now he's in the UFC. This will be his second fight, won his debut. Is it safe to say that he might be favored in this fight? But all of a sudden now, everybody has to start putting some respect on his name and go, all right, this dude is actually a legit UFC fighter.
Yeah, he's the favorite in this fight, man. But I think it's a lot closer fight than the odds say. And for Vanderford, it's all good. He's in the UFC, man. I think he got screwed on the Contender Series. I think he deserved a contract back then already, and he didn't get it. Came in the UFC on short notice. Choked out Veretanikov. Amazing win. Now it's to fight Ramis. It's an interesting fight, man, because we know Ramis. Ramis almost always, if he wins, it's a first round finish. If he loses, it goes to decision over many times. Vanderford can grapple very well. Ramis can grapple very well. Vanderford has probably the better cardio, I think. So it's either going to be Vanderford, I think, late or by decision, or Ramis early, and also by submission or knockout. So it's an interesting fight. The thing is, I like both guys a lot. I'm really a believer in Ramis. You know, I think Ramis is really good, but he has to, and he finally put some wins together. You know, I got a great win over Goff last time. I think it will be an interesting fight. I'm picking Ramis in this one, so I'm sorry, Chris, but I'm picking Ramis. But I think Austin can do well. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if he wins because he's really good. He's underrated. Like you said, people always try to make fun of him because they call him Mr. Van Zandt. But the guy's a really good fighter, man. People should give him credit for that. And he showed it time after time. And I wouldn't be surprised if he wins, man, because I think he's really good. And he's actually a guy in Bellator, when he came off Bellator, there was not a lot of fuss about him, you know, like with the other, like with Apache Mix, for example. There was a lot of fuss when he came with Michael Page. But with Austin Vanderford, he basically got just put on a card and nobody said anything about it. But I think he has quality. So looking forward to the fight. It's a fun fight. It's on the early prelims, but it's a fun fight.
Last but not least, when we talk about fuss, Edmund Shabazian.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of fuss when he first started. He was
Yeah.
the golden boy. Hey, Ronda Rousey was backing him. Edmund Taverdi was training him, and he started off like gangbusters. He was at what point 10-0. Then he ran into a lot of trouble, lost 5 out of his next 7 fights. He's now gone to Extreme Couture. He's won back-to-back fights. Takes on Andre Muniz. Is he back on the road? I mean, is this now? Does he now look like a guy where this is what the UFC saw when they first signed him? This is what Still only 27 years old. Is this a guy the UFC now looks again and goes, all right, we're starting to feel the love again. Hey, we have some faith in you. Hey, we still think you could be a player at 185 pounds.
It's very simple, man. He has to win this fight. You know, I remember when he came, like you said, in the UFC, a lot of hype. Then he got pretty much derailed by Derek Brunson. Um, and the thing is with Atman always had that cardio problem. You know, I think it's getting better now, but it still can improve. And he is really like a striker. Ground game is not great, you know. It's okay, but not amazing. And with Andre Muniz, it's pretty much the other way around. You know, his ground game is pretty good, but he has problem to get it to the ground normally. You know, but if he's on the ground, he's pretty good. But also, his cardio is also questionable. You know, so I think Atman should win this fight, and he probably has to knock him out. You know, and I wouldn't be surprised if he knocks him out early. I think Atman will search for that. It's possible that he can knock him out. Yeah, I think this fight, Atman should win this fight for sure. You know, if he loses this fight, then it's going to be hard to get into any places with the UFC, I think. But he should win this fight for sure, man. Yeah, Atman.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we always love having him on the show because he brings the heat, and sometimes he will even, dare I say, drop some nuggets on us. I give you from Eurosport, UFC, and MMA Odds Breaker and Tapology. I give you Marcel Dorff. So, Marcel, once again, where can fans check you out at? Where is the Twitter, the podcast, Instagram? I'm guessing you now probably have a Rumble channel where you're going off on Dutch politics. Where can fans check you out at?
Yeah, first of all, it's always a pleasure talking to you, Chris. Thanks for having me. Big Marcel 24, Twitter, Instagram, as always, you know. MMA Icebreaker, previews and recaps of UFC events, also Dana White Contender Series with Adam Martin. Have now a monthly podcast with Gilbert Ivel and Dennis Kornman on the Vechters Bazen YouTube channel. So yeah, I mean, I can make I can promote it, but it wasn't Dutch. We had the Henry Hooft and Yusri Bulgari on it, but it's in Dutch, so that doesn't really make sense to promote it here because not a lot because most of your listeners are English speaking. So, but yeah, that's basically it. We're also doing some editing for Topology, like you know, the Dutch events, and yeah, that's it, man. Thanks for having me as always, and always looking forward to talking to you. It's always fun, and yeah, looking forward to next week to discuss the results from this card, man.
Marcel Dorff, ladies and gentlemen, once again, always on a pleasure. Have you on the show. We come back. A lot more going on here, only on it's Last Call. Last Call to the Alcohol, only on the lastcallpodcast.com.